Back on Get Up, bottom of the hour. What a crazy day we're having. Let's go to Oklahoma City. That's the site of tonight's Suns-Thunder game, and there's a lot of irony in that. Kevin Durant, of course, is now on the Suns. He was once on the Thunder. He's been downgraded to doubtful. Trade speculation swirling around him. Suns say he's dealing with a left ankle sprain. Phoenix, meanwhile, has been willing to listen to offer for Durant in recent days. The Warriors are among the teams said to have interest. I've got an unbelievable basketball squad together today, anchored as always by the Windman, who's up early in L.A. Windy, second verse, same as the first. KD back to the Bay. What can you tell us?
Wow, bro. Okay, so as you know, the Suns have been trying. The Suns have been trying for weeks to turn Bradley Beal into Jimmy Butler, to pair him with Devin Booker and Kevin Durant. That is what the Suns have wanted. That is what Jimmy Butler has wanted. That is not what Brad Beal wants, and he has a no-trade clause. And they have reached to loggerheads. They have tried almost every team in the league, from what I can understand. They went out and traded their one first-round pick into 3 to try to pay off 3 different teams to do deals. I can't tell you how many things I've been through on calls listening to stuff, how they've tried. They are at the end here. The deadline is here. They have no Brad Beal trade. They are 25-24. They have a very aggressive owner, okay? And so now they are examining, this team isn't working. We can't trade Beal. What are we going to do? Durant has 1 year on his contract. So they have now begun entertaining, should we trade Kevin Durant? And they have begun those discussions across the league. Now I'd like to shift you to the Bay. 25-24, veteran team, underachieving, difficult time trading for a star. They've been looking for a year for a star, looking for LeBron, for Paul George, for Markin, and all these things. Very aggressive owner who can't stand this. Here, I am describing to you how this began. And so now we have the Warriors and Suns discussing the possibility of bringing Kevin Durant back, okay? I am not going to sit here and even begin to project or guess as to how this may go down. Is it possible that Kevin Durant could be traded to the Warriors? Yes. Will it happen? I'm not afraid to say I don't know. This is potentially a 3, 4, 5 team transaction. It could involve like a dozen other players because that's the nature of the way NBA trades. It could involve Jimmy Butler because it is possible, guys, that the Suns can acquire Jimmy Butler, but not for Brad Beal, but for Kevin Durant. And so that after a month of trying to pair them together, they could end up in an elaborate way being traded for each other. But I got to tell you, as you can hear as I describe this, it sounds complicated. It is. So I do not want to imply that anything's going to happen. And I have no idea how you go back on this if it doesn't work, because now the world does know that the Warriors are trying to get KD back and repair him with Steph Curry. The only things I can tell you that I can say for sure is that tomorrow afternoon, Devin Booker will be on the Suns because I think that's the only guarantee, and Steph Curry will be on the Warriors. After that, I can't promise you anything.
Windy reports like Harlan Coben writes. There is a twist around every corner that you don't see coming, and you can't put it down for a second. All right, Jay Will, the last time Kevin Durant, literally the last time Kevin Durant played for the Warriors, he tore his Achilles. You flew back on the plane with him after that happened. I'll never forget you being on the show the following morning. What is your sense of the possibility of KD going back there and kind of finishing up whatever business he left there for whatever reasons?
Well, first off, Wendy, Monica, Allen, Greeny, I've learned that I don't speak for Kevin Durant. Last time I did that, it ended up not well for me on your show, Greeny, okay? So let's just take that first off. Secondly, I will say this. I did find myself, when we landed that day, thinking about, okay, Brooklyn is an incredible opportunity. Obviously, Kyrie's going to be there. Madison Square Garden, incredible opportunity. He was looking at the Clippers. But, like, why not just stay in the Bay? Like, why not win 5, 6, 7 championships? I think ego was a really big thing for a lot of people back then. Everybody telling him what he needed to do to secure his own legacy. Look, KD knows his basketball legacy is one of the greatest to ever do it. He's probably the most prolific scorer the game of basketball has ever seen. And I think maybe now, if he's at this stage of his career, once again, I don't know what KD's going to do. He's his own man, speaks for himself. But to get paired with Steph Curry, with the experience he's had with USA basketball, why not go back to a place where you know where it is? That offense that they ran was the most beautiful offense, I think, in the history of KD's career. The continuity was exactly the offense that KD dreams of in his sleep. Why not go back to a place where you got your 2 finals MVPs, You got your 2 championships, and go win more with one of the greatest shooters and greatest players ever played a game.
McNutt, what do you think of it?
Greeny, this is what we call spinning the block. And this is a guy and a team, potentially, and I'm not sure exactly where Kevin Durant sits in this desire, but you are familiar with that old thing. You want it back. It was very effective. It was good. But in this case, I would suggest that both parties have been able to grow in a way and appreciate how much, how special what they had once was. This is sort of mind-blowing, and mostly because, as Wendy pointed out, it's not just going to be straight up. What other dominoes are going to fall in this? For weeks, we've all been captivated by the Jimmy Butler situation, and this apparently could impact that. But in theory, these guys reuniting, it was a good thing. It was fantastic. Now, I just don't know how many pieces are going to be involved, and will we still be having conversations about what you put around them? But Kevin Durant, Stephen Curry pulling in the same direction as champions that have already won together, who doesn't sit for that?
Alan, give me a final word.
Well, first and foremost, when Wendy talks about a trade that sounds like that one where Jimmy Butler ends up in Phoenix and KD's back, I need him to do it with Wendy fingers. That means it's going to happen because that's something, if you're the NBA, you want that to happen. That's the kind of chaos I'm here for, because think about the star aspect of it, and also when you have super teams. That's when the NBA is at its best. And when those two were together, meaning KD and Steph Curry, that was one of the great super teams of all time. NBA Twitter broke that team up. As you said, Jay, that's the kind of narratives that got out there, and he reads all that stuff, and it gets in his head, and that screwed it up. Bring it back together, bring the band back together, give it one more try to get another chip, and boy, the NBA, talk about a playoffs that you'd be excited for with all these different machinations. Yeah, I'm in for it.
Okay, now I do have to let Jay get on his plane. Jay, Will, thank you. We will check with you soon. Everybody else, stay where you are.
First apron, they cannot go out and sign even a 15th player right now. So for Dallas, it's all about getting healthy down the stretch run.
Yeah, they could really use a superstar who maybe gets about 30 a game, 10 assists, 10 boards. Oh, I'm sorry. They just let him go. That's not a good joke, Dallas fans. I'm sorry. All right, what do the Warriors need?
Well, you'd love to get a star, but trying to get a star with 32 games left in the season, mid-season, is trying to thread a needle through the haystack here. But they've got the contracts to go out and do that. When you look at that big Andrew Wiggins contract, they've got another $30 million in expiring contracts, 3 first-round picks. Certainly Jimmy Butler would be that guy, maybe even if Kevin Durant does become available here. But certainly star chasing would be a priority. As we all know, showing restraint at the deadline is the hardest thing because it's always a knee-jerk reaction as far as what the standings dictate.
And yet, what are we seeing so far? Luka trading teams, Anthony Davis, De'Aaron Fox.
Y'all ever stood in a Texas thunderstorm, feeling the air crackling with energy? That's the vibe in Cleveland right now, 'cause Myles Garrett's got folks buzzing louder than a hive of hornets. Let's cut through the noise. This ain't just about sacks or draft picks. This is about pride, grit, and the kind of football decisions that'll haunt your BBQ debates for years. So, Garrett wants out? The Browns claim they ain't tossing confetti his way. But let me tell you, if they trade that man, they better haul back a first-rounder plus something sweet. 10 NFL execs say it's doable, but here's the kicker. Replacing Garrett ain't like swapping out a flat tire on your pickup. Dude's a generational talent. You don't just draft some shiny new edge rusher and call it a day. Penn State's Abdul Carter? Sure, the kid's got hustle, 10 sacks last season, but he's built like a linebacker, not a wrecking ball. Still, the NFL draft nerds are drooling over him. Now, let's talk QB drama. Deshaun Watson's ankles held together by duct, tape and prayers, and Cleveland's got to decide. Do they gamble on a rookie signal caller now, or wait for 2025's can't-miss class? Shadur Sanders and Cam Ward might sound like American football royalty, but PFF's already side-eyeing their arm strength. Meanwhile, Jackson Dart's lurking in the shadows, Mel Kiper's whispering he could sneak into round 1. Folks, this ain't just a draft, it's a crossroads. Imagine holding 2 first-round picks in a year where QBs are either boom or bust prospects or MIA. The clock's ticking louder than a rattlesnake in July. Trade Garrett, and you're not just losing a star, you're betting the farm on a kid who's never faced a double team in the big leagues. But here's the kicker. History don't lie. Teams that panic trade legends, they end up drafting regrets. Remember when Houston shipped out Jadavion Clowney? Yeah, how'd that work out? Cleveland's got one shot to either rebuild or reload. You want to be the fan base chanting, "I told you so," or the one drowning your sorrows in lukewarm beer? So, let's get raw. If you were calling the shots, would you risk it all on a draft pick or beg Garrett to stay?